All right, let's go for the pre-assessment for the final. All right, and we will, let's see here. Let me share this. Let me find the document here. Right here is the final. All right, so number one. Number one is, okay, write in slope intercept form. Okay, so remember the slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay, and that is parallel and perpendicular to the following line and goes through the point 8, 2. All right, so if it's parallel with this line, okay, remember that parallel lines have the same slope but different y-intercepts. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to use the 1/4, and we're going to plug that in here. Okay, because again, 1/4 is a slope here, and we're finding another line, right, with the slope of 1/4. How do we know what the slope is? How do we know that the slope is 1/4? Because the lines are parallel. Now we need to find the b, the y-intercept. In order for us to find the b, we need to use this point because it's going through this point. Again, we need to temporarily plug this in for the 8 and the 2. That way we can find the b. So 2 is the y value, is equal to 1/4 times 8 plus b. So 1/4 times 8 is 2 plus b is equal to 2. You subtract 2 to both sides. So what happens? B is equal to 0. So the first answer is 1. Y is equal to 1/4x plus 0, or you could just simply write y equals 1/4x. Number 2, the perpendicular line. Remember the perpendicular line, what you have to do is you have the slope right here, okay? You have to flip it over, which is 4/1, or just 4, and then change the sign. So since this is positive, the perpendicular line is going to be negative. So what we're going to do is we have the slope of -4x plus b. And we're going to do the same thing with the 8, 2 point. Okay, right? Because it's going to go through 8, 2. So we're going to plug in the 2 for the y and the 8 for the x. And so 2 is equal to -32 plus b. You add the 32 to both sides. So what happens? B is equal to 34. So what is the final answer? Y is equal to -4x plus 34. All right. Number 2, you have a trinomial here. So you first of all look for the greatest common factor, and you realize that you don't have one. So you get the a, b, and c. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to 7, c is equal to 10. So it'll be 7, or sorry, it'll be 10 here because it's a times c, and the b is 7. So two numbers that multiply into the 7 add up to the 5 to the multiply to the 7, add up to the multiply to the 10, add up to the 7. It'll be 5 and 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 plus 2 is 7. So the final answer is n plus 5 and n plus 2. And you're not solving this, you're just factoring it, so you can just leave it like this. Number 3, this might have been something that you've forgotten, but remember the a is not 1, it's 2. So there's an extra step to this. So you have 30 and -11. Two numbers that multiply into the 30 add up to the -11 would be -6 and -5, right? Because -6 times -5 is +30. -6 plus -5 is -11. Then remember to do this. Remember, look at the a. The a is 2. So there's this extra step of you put the 2 above both factors here, and then you cancel them out, or you simplify them as much as possible. This, right, you can't simplify. Here you can simplify to 1 over -3. So the final answer is what? Since the variable is k minus 3, and then 2k minus 5. And again, we're not solving, so we just leave it like this. All right. Number 4, we're grouping. right? You group the first two usually, you group the second two. There are cases where you may have to rearrange that, but for this time, we're just gonna group the first two and the second two. You may have to rearrange it so that you get the same inside number. So it would be what? 6x squared, and what's left inside is x minus 3. And then I'm gonna factor out the 2, and what's left inside is x minus 3. So when you you have to put these two together because these two are the same. So it'll be 6x squared plus 2, and then x minus 3. And again, the point is, and you may want to do this at the end, whenever we factor, you want to multiply, FOIL it out, and it should equal this, just to double check. All right. Number 5 is the difference of squares. You have to recognize that this is a square. So you have to really be familiar with your numbers, and this is a square. What's a square? Again, a square is 1, 4, 9, x squared, 16, y squared, you know, so on and so forth, 25, 49, 36. These are numbers. 6 squared is equal to 36. This is a square. This is a square. Right? Y to the second power is y squared. So that's why y squared is a square. So you're subtracting 2 squares. And when you subtract 2 squares, you get the square root of both. All right. So you get the square root of this, square root of that, and it'll be a minus b, a plus b. Remember, the a is the square root of this, so that would be 7a minus, and then square root of 4 is 2, and then 7a plus 2. And that is your answer. Okay. Number 6 is the sum of cubes. Let me just look at that formula real quick just to make sure. I think it's if it's plus. Yeah, it'd be plus minus plus. Okay. So it's plus minus plus. So it would be x plus y, and then x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. Okay, plus minus plus. So you get, or it could, I think I put it a plus b, and a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. It's the same thing, just use different variables. So remember, this is a difference of cubes. So you get the cube root of both. And the cube root of this term will be the a, so that's going to be 3x. And the cube root of this is going to be 64, so b is equal to 4. Remember, 64 is both a cube. It's rare. It's both a cube and a square, right? Okay, so because it's 4 to the third power, and it's also 8 to the second power. All right, so we're gonna plug these numbers in. So it will be 3x plus 4 times, and then 3x squared minus 2 times 3x times 4 plus 4 squared. Okay, so this is then what? 3x plus 4, 9x squared, 624 minus 24x plus 16, and that is your final answer. Okay, so that's factored. All right, and again, the factoring is so big. Please study this, especially in your IXL. You really need to do this. It's going to come up over and over and over again. All right, so it's never ending. We just did trig identities a little bit, and we still did factoring here. So for number 7 and 8, you're going to have to do 2 steps. You have to kind of realize that. Remember, always GCF at first. If there's a GCF, a greatest common factor, you would want to factor that out. So I'm thinking negative 3x would be your greatest common factor, right? And so what's left inside is, I took out the negative, so it'll be a positive 2x squared plus, remember, all the same signs change, so plus 9x minus think it's 10, right? So here we go. Oh, sorry, it should be plus, right? Because I took out a negative here, I took a negative here, I took a negative here, so it should be plus. So it'd be negative 3x. And if you factor this, remember the x method, this would be 20, this will be 9. Two numbers that multiply the 20 add up to 9 will be 5 and 4. But remember that this a is 2, so you have to put the 2 above both numbers. So this will be 1 over 2. This you can't simplify. So you have 2x plus 5 and 1x plus 2. And this is my factored equation. Okay. Number 8, you take out the x first, right? So it's x squared minus 36, right? And then factor this out. Remember, this is the difference of squares. So it'll be x and then x minus 6, x plus 6. Okay. All right, so that's all the factoring. And so just a huge emphasis on factoring because that's going to continue next semester. We're going to continue to factor problems. All right, quadratic formula. Make sure you put it in standard form, right? Standard form is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So there's a 12 here, or you can make it as long as it equals 0. So you have to add the 12 to the 1. So it is 2q squared minus 15q plus 13 is equal to 0. Quadratic formula is, well, first of all, the a is equal to 2, the b is equal to negative 15, and the c is equal to 13. So the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared, right, minus 4ac all over 2a. Plug these all in, it would be negative and then negative 15 plus or minus square root of 15, negative 15 squared minus 4 times 2 times 13 all over 2a. This is equal to 15 plus or minus square root of 225. 26 times 4 is, I believe, 104, right? 6 times 13. So 8 times 13. 24, right? 24, oops. 104 all over 2 times 2. So it'll be 15 plus or minus square root of 121. Right, okay, all over 4. This equals 15 plus or minus 11 over 4, which is then 15 plus 11 over 4, 15 minus 11 over 4. So this is 26 over 4. This is 4 over 4, which is equal to 1. So this is what, 6.5. Okay. All right. Number next question would be number 10. Completing the square. Completing the square is a little bit different than the other ones because the standard form doesn't really apply as much here. You're going to add the 9 to both sides, right? Okay, and remember this is number 10. That 10 is not part of the equation. So it would be what? X squared minus 10x is equal to 11. Remember to put a space here because again, look at this b right here, b divided by 2, and then square it. So b divided by 2 is 5, square would be 25. And so you're going to add 25 here as well. So this is what, if you factor this out, this would be x minus 5 squared is equal to 36. Yeah, because remember a times c is 25. b is -10. Two numbers that multiply into 25 and add up to -10 would be -5. All right. Then you square root these, and when you square root them, it'll be x plus 5, because you get rid of the square, is equal to plus or minus 6. You subtract the 5 to both sides. So what happens? X is equal to -5 plus 6, -5 minus 6. This is equal to 1 and -11. Oops. Should clear that. 1 and -11. Okay. So remember, I didn't do this last problem, but remember these are graph the solution on the xy. All you're doing is just graphing it on the x-axis. So it would be 1 and -11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's pretend that 11 is here. And these are your x-intercepts. Okay. Number 11. We have simplified the expression a plus b. So all you have to do is just FOIL this. So it would be -28 plus 14i minus 12i plus 6i squared. And then this is, you combine these two, so that's -26. This is, remember, I squared is -1. So -1 times 6 is -6, minus 28 will be -34 plus 2i. Because again, 14 minus 12 is 2i, so it'll be 2i. All right. Number 12, quadratic formula. I kind of want to emphasize that because we didn't do it very often, and I kind of want to make sure you guys get this down. Add the 5 to both sides, right? Equals 0. So a is 1, b is 4, c is 5. So 5 times 1 is 5, a times c is 5, b is 4. Two numbers that multiply into this and add up to this, it would be, is there a number? Oh, you know what? Sorry, we're using the quadratic formula. So, duh. So it would be what? -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So -4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 4 times 1 times 5 all over 2 times 1. So this is what? -4 plus or minus. This is -20. -20 minus 16 minus 20 is -4 all over 2. Remember that you have, when you have a negative in the square root, it's an imaginary number. So it'd be -4 plus or minus 2i all over 2. And because this term, this term can all factor into, or can all divisible by 2, it would be -2 plus or minus I. That's your answer. Okay. Convert the following equation to vertex form and standard vertex form and factored form. Well, let's factor it first. If you want to factor, you just take out the 2. And what's left inside is x squared plus 4x minus 5. Factor the inside, it'll be -5 and +4. Two numbers that multiply to this add up to the 4 will be 5 and -1, right? Remember, the a is the number inside the parentheses in front of the x squared, and so there is, the a is 1. So we could just go x plus 5. We could just put these numbers out. X minus 1 times 2. So that's the factored form of that. Okay. To complete the square, what you need to do is you need to add the 10 to both sides first, which will be y plus 10 is equal to 2x squared plus 8x. Factor out the 2 here. So it'll be y plus 10 is equal to 2, and then x squared plus 4x, sorry, 4, right? Yeah, 4x, sorry, we're gonna put the x there. Yeah, when completing the square, it's a little weird, but yeah, you need to, although you could factor out the 2 and the x here, you're just factoring out the 2 because you want these x's in here so that you could get a square. So 4x divided by 2 is 2 squared, it would be plus 4. And when I add 4 here, I have to add 8 to the other side. Why 8? Because you're multiplying 2 times 4. This equals what? Y plus 18 is equal to 2 and then x plus 2 squared. Make sure you guys learn how to factor. That's, if you factor it, it'll be this. And this is in vertex form. Why is it called vertex form? Because again, this is the x coordinate of the vertex. This is the y coordinate of the vertex. So it'll be -2 comma -18. All right. Number 13, number 14 here. Kendra sells pens for $50 pens at a weekly rate of $5. She estimates that she will sell 10 less pens every time she increases the price by $1. So if you have 50 pens, that's times 5, right? Because it's $5 per pen, so it'd be what? $250. If she sells, if she increases the price to $6, she will sell 40 pens. So 40 times 6 is what? 240. Let's go one more down here. So if I go sell 30 pens, if she increases by a dollar, it'll be 210. So right now we see what? That the price is going down, that our revenue is going down. Well, let's say she sold, she raised the price up by, sorry, she lowered the price, but she's able to sell 60 pens, right? So if she lowers the price to $4, she sells 10 more at 60, right? So that's what? At 240 here. And then if she sells it at $3, well, more people would buy it at 70 people at 10. So that would equal what? 210. So realize what? That this is the best price point you could get. Okay, that you want to sell it for $5 because that's, we're going to bring in the most revenue out of the 5 scenarios that we caught. And remember, keep in mind, it's kind of like a parabola, right? There's the height, and then it starts to go lower and lower on each side. Okay. So number 15, based on the, this is the vertex. So you want to either based on the vertex or the roots. The roots are -5 and 1. So y is equal to a, and then x minus r times x minus r. -5, so y is equal to a, and then x plus 5 and x minus 1. Okay. Now again, we need to find the a. Remember, each equation has an x and a y, so that way you can fill in a number for x and solve for y. So we need to find the a, right? The x's we could leave alone, the y we could leave alone, but we need to find the a. So what we need to do is we need to find a point in this graph and plug it in for x and y. So let's plug in the vertex here. So -2, 9, -9. So it'll be -2 comma -9. So it'll be -9 equals a, and -2 plus 5, -2 minus 1. -9 is equal to, this is a times 3 minus 3, which is also -9. So it'll be -9 is equal to -9a. You divide both sides by -9, so a is equal to 1. So our factored form is y is equal to a, and then x plus 5, x minus 1. Oops, I should put 2. I mean 1. Or you don't have to put anything at all, because then that's, or you can just write this, a is equal to x plus 5, x minus 1. Now, what about the vertex form? Remember, vertex form is y is equal to a, and then x minus h squared plus k, or y minus k is equal to a, and then x minus h squared. Either way, if you can flip the k to the other side. Our vertex is -2, -9, and our a is equal to 1. So just plug those numbers in. So y plus 9 is equal to 1, and x plus 2 squared. And that's your final answer. Number 16 is multiply, and be careful here because here, if you look here and here, there's no plus or minus sign, so you could just straight up multiply. 5 times 3, 15. X4 times x squared is x to the 6th, and then y to the 5th, right? Because this is 2 and this is 3, so you're just adding them. Here, however, you are distributing, so it'll be what? X cubed minus 2x squared plus 4x, and then this will be negative 4x squared plus 8x minus 16. Final answer is x squared minus 6x x cubed minus 6x squared plus 12x minus 16. That's your answer. Number 17 here, you're going to divide. So it's long division. So x minus 8 divided by x squared minus 7m minus 11. Remember, if they're separate, if they were like powers that skipped, if they were like exponents where they skipped a power, then you would have to put a 0 in between. Remember the placeholders, but this goes 2, 1, this is x. So this should be x. Okay. So you know how two terms cannot go into one term, so it will start here. What number times x equals x squared? It'll just be x minus 8x. Then you subtract them, this becomes a plus sign. So this would be x, and then you bring down the negative 11. This will be plus 1. 1 times x is x. 1 times 8 is minus 8. So it'll be negative 19. So the final answer is x plus 1 minus 19 over x minus 8. That's here. Synthetic division. You put the opposite sign of what you're dividing by over here in the corner, and then you're going to plug in the coefficients of this term. So the coefficients are 1, 0, and negative 28. Remember that there's no 8 to the first power, and that's why we put the 0. Bring down this 1. You multiply these two, so that's 5. Add these. Remember, add these two numbers, so that'll be 5. 5 times 5 is 25. And then this will be negative 3. So the final answer is negative 3 over a minus 5. Or you can just go minus 3. And then this increases by 1 in exponent. So this is this is a constant. This is then plus just x. And then if there's another number, it'll be that x squared, and then so on and so forth. Okay. So I think this is 3 here. So that is your answer. Number 19. It is 6x times 6x, so that'll be 24x squared. So it'll be 4 times, 36x squared plus 5 radical 6x minus 24 radical 6x minus 30. So this is 6x, so it'll be 24x plus, you combine these two because they're both 6x, radical 6x, so it'll be what, 19 radical 6x minus 30. Okay. So this is plus, this should be a negative 19. This right here is radical 8x minus 2 radical 2 plus 2 radical 4x minus 4. Simplify this, this will be 2 radical 2x minus 2 radical 2. This will be plus 4. This is 2, so 2x, right? Because this is 2. This is 2x. So I just said this is 4. 4x minus 4. And you can't do anything else. This is it. Number 20. It's 5m cubed. And then over radical 10m. And you have to rationalize the denominator. So you have to get rid of the radical. So there's no perfect square inside. So I'm just going to multiply 10m to the top and bottom. By doing that, it becomes 5m squared radical 10m. And then this is 100m squared, which is 10m, all over 10m. You can cancel these here, and you cancel these. So there's an m left over, and there's a 2 left over down here. So it will be m radical 10m all over 2. For number 3, remember that this is a cube root of 5. So you have to multiply this squared, the cube root of 25, so that I could get a perfect cube. So 5 times 25 is 125, so it'd be cube root of 125, which is equal to 5. So this will be 3 cube root radical 25 all over 5. For number 21, almost there. 21 is radical. So since they both have radicals, you could just divide them out. So it would be 2x6, this radical of that. And remember that this is a perfect square. You could take out, you could divide that by 2. This is pretty much radical 2, radical x6. This is x6 to over 2. So it'll be x cubed radical 2. This one here, notice that you could take out the x here, right? So that would be negative 4x cubed radical 63. And notice that you could simplify radical 63 to 9 and 7. And if you get the square root of this, the 9, it would be 3. So multiply the 3 times negative 4 would be negative 12x cubed radical 7. And then x cubed radical 112. This is what? My brain's not working right now. I'm sleepy. This is 56 and 2. This would be 8 and 7, 4 and 2, 2 and 2. 1 pair, 2 pairs. So this would be 4 radical 7. I guess it's 16 times 7. Yeah. So it's 4 radical 7. 4 radical 7 times, and it'll be x squared. So it'll be 4x cubed radical 7. Oops. So we have negative 12x cubed radical 7 plus 4x cubed radical 7. This turns out to be negative 8x cubed radical 8x. Sorry, 8x cubed. My bad. Oh, I'm messing up so much. Sorry. Seriously, I'm really sleepy right now for some reason. Negative 8x cubed radical 7 here. Okay. All right, let me just pull through these next few problems and we're almost done. All right, so number 22 is a complex fraction here. So it'll be 9 over x minus x squared over x, which then equals 9 minus x squared over x. And remember, this should look kind of peculiar to you because the variable is not in front and the number's in front. So you want to kind of flip them over if necessary, and I think you do because these are the difference of squares. So it'll be negative x squared plus 9. And you want to factor out the negative 1. So this equals negative 1 x minus 9, x squared minus 9 all over x. So that's that top equation, okay? And then the bottom one is x squared over 3 plus, and then this is what, 3x over 3, and you combine them, x squared plus 3x over 3, and then let's divide them out. So we have this and this. So we're going to flip this one over. So we have negative, and if you factor that out, it'll be x minus 3, x plus 3, all over x, times this bottom fraction here, 3 over, and let's factor this, it'll be x times x plus 3. Okay, you could cancel these out. I think that's about it. So this will be negative 3, and then x minus 3 all over x squared. Okay. Number letter B, it would be this side needs another 5. So let's go with 5 over x squared minus 1 over 5. This is, you have to multiply both sides, the top and the bottom, by 5. This side, you have to multiply the top and bottom by x squared. So this will be 25 minus x squared all over 5x squared. Okay? And then let's do this fraction, and then we'll figure that part out. Okay, so it would be x over 5 plus 5 over 5. Common denominator, so it'll be x plus 5 over 5. All right. Then we're going to multiply by its reciprocal because you're dividing here. So this is going to be negative. So we're going to factor this to negative 1 and then x minus 5, x plus 5. Times, and then we're going to multiply this by the reciprocal, be 5 over x plus 5. Cancel, cancel, right? And so I think that's all we could do. So it is negative 5 and then x minus 5. Actually, we can cancel out the 5s here. So it's going to be negative 1 all over x squared. That's your final answer. Okay. Number 23. All right, we want to get the common denominator. I guess we could do the common denominator all the way through. So it would be 3 times x minus 7 minus 3. This already has a x minus 7, so we could just put minus 3 equals, this is an x minus 7, so it'll be x times x minus 7, which is x squared minus 7x. Distribute will be 3x minus 21 minus 3 is equal to x squared minus 7x. Combine like terms, so this is 3x minus 24, right, equals x squared minus 7x. Subtract the 3x to both sides, add the 24. X squared minus 10x plus 24. X method here, it would be 24 and negative 10, which would be negative 6 and negative 4. So we have x minus 6, x minus 4. Our two solutions are x is equal to 6 and x is equal to 4. Over letter B, we could do the same thing. We could just multiply the top by the common denominator. So the top 7 just needs x minus 7. the 3x needs a x plus 7, and the 2x plus 7 needs a x plus 7 as well. Again, because we're trying to get the common denominator, and we're just using the numerators. All of this would be over x minus 7, x plus 7, but we don't need to put that because what we did was we got the same denominator for each one, and then we're just going to figure out the numerator. So this is what? 7x minus 49 plus 3x squared plus 21x. And FOIL that out equals 2x squared plus 14x plus 7x plus 49. Let's combine like terms and put them in order. 3x squared. This would be plus 28x minus 49 equals 2x squared plus 21x plus 49. So subtract the 2x squared, subtract the 21, subtract the 49. X squared plus 7x minus, this is 49, 98. Right, so two numbers that multiply into the 98 and add up to 7. Oh, it would be 14 times 7. Let me try that. Yep. Okay. So it's 14 and negative 7 here. And there is no a, so it will just be x plus 14, x minus 7. And since you are solving, make them both equal to 0. So x is equal to negative 14, x is equal to positive 7. I hope you enjoyed that. Took me a long time, but watch it, enjoy it, have a good week, and study hard.